Okay, here in Hilo, we have Ricky Ray Demerville, representing the Office of Prosecuting Attorney.
My boss is here. Council members, I'm speaking personally from personal experience. I think Jay kind of knows that. I have a different perspective a little bit on this issue, although I agree with the child who just testified. I was in the military from 1967 to 1975. I saw firsthand what relaxation of laws with respect to drugs did to combat readiness. When I came in 67, if you got caught with marijuana, you got kicked out of the service. By 1975, it was a $50 fine. Combat readiness fell terribly. I've been a public defender. I've seen what marijuana and other drugs do to human beings. I have a first cousin who is a poster boy for marijuana. The reason I say he's a poster boy because his name is Michael Damerville. When you have a name like Damerville, you just get up on the internet. They're all my relatives, the good ones and the bad ones. He did 77 months in federal prison for criminal conspiracy to distribute 17.2 grams of marijuana. Now, some people might think that's a little bit harsh, 17.2 grams, 77 months, but the fact is he was already in federal prison when he decided to distribute marijuana. That's a no-no. This is taking us in the wrong direction. In Alaska in 1975, the Supreme Court of Alaska, in its infinite wisdom, decided that there was a right of privacy to possess small quantities of marijuana in the home, essentially decriminalizing by Supreme Court fiat. In 2006, the conditions had gotten so bad with the use of marijuana and substance abuse with children that in 2006, the legislature in the state of Alaska voted and passed laws to recriminalize the possession and use of marijuana. It went up to the Supreme Court, state of Alaska versus the ACLU. And the argument that the legislature was making at that time was, listen, our 30 years of experience shows increased use, pregnant women testing positive for marijuana, increased use by juveniles, increased DUIs. All of these things came with decriminalization, and they said, we need to recriminalize. They took it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, you know what, we're going to pass. We're not going to decide this because there's not a controversy at this time. The only other thing I would leave you with is that in 1604, King James wrote the counterblast to tobacco. And what he said was, don't be fooled by what people are telling you about all the good things that come from smoking tobacco. From curing influenza to curing smallpox, it's all BS is basically what he said. And he left his people with this. He said, a custom loathsome to the eye, hateful to the nose, harmful to the brain, and dangerous to the lungs. Dangerous to the lungs. 1604, 405 years ago, he was telling people it's bad for public health, and we didn't believe him. We had to have millions of people die before what we should have already known.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next testifier over in Kona, Karen.
Our next testifier is Dylan Watai. He's speaking in opposition to the Resolution 281, and he is from the Kalakaua Youth Crime Watch.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dylan Watai. I am 11 years old, and I am a 6th grade student at Kalakaua Intermediate School. I belong to the Kalakaua Community Association, who also sponsors our Youth Crime Watch of Kalakaua. I am the president of our Youth Crime Watch of Kalakaua and have been such for the past 2 terms. I am here in opposition of resolution number 281-09. As an honor roll student of my school, I am thankful that I do not indulge or hang out with people who do drugs. As a member of drug-free programs such as Youth Crime Watch, or community associations, and our funding group, Olulike Inc. We are so lucky to have adult leaders in these organizations who take the time to teach us about ATOD prevention. I have held signs on the road that says, "Smoke fish, not ice," or "Papalola is for the Lolo." I am smart, or Akamai. Why do I spend my spare time doing activities like this? Because I am the future, and I need to start doing things that will help my future. Alcohol, tobacco, and drugs like marijuana will not help me be a good leader, and I wish that when I become an adult, I will make good decisions for my peers. Within the 13th paragraph of Resolution 281-09, it states that, quote, marijuana in a free society would probably be considered most compatible with healthy social activity, unquote, hogwash. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dylan. Moving back here to Hilo. I'm sorry, I skipped this one. This is Charlene Iboshi speaking on representing the Office of Prosecuting Attorney. Welcome, Charlene.
Good evening. Thank you. And I echo what the two young men have said, and I think that's really a statement that you have to decide tonight. What are you saying to these young people? And the reason I'm here tonight is I want to make clear there's a silent majority out there that's saying, oh, this won't ever pass. Don't worry, Charlene. That's what happened the last time. That's why I'm here. Somebody says, why are you bothering? You're legitimizing this process. I'm here to just say, for me personally, as a mother, as a community member, born and raised in Hilo, I want to see a safer community. I'm no longer only prosecuting cases. I'm looking at how can we prevent the problems of our community? How can we make this a safer place? And many efforts that our office with the judiciary and other community members have created are to solve problems. And one of them is Big Island Drug Court. I want to share with you the experiences that we have in Big Island Drug Court. Many times the youth will say, when they're asked by the judge, when did you start using drugs? This is somebody that's maybe 20 years old, and they say, oh, a year ago. And the judge will say, what do you mean drugs? You mean you just started a year ago? And they'll say, oh, no, you meant meth, right? You meant meth, right? Oh, marijuana, I started that when I was 11 years old. And the reality is that what we're finding in drug court is many times the youth start taking alcohol at about 10. Where do they get it from? Their parents or their young adults that are in their lives. Marijuana, the same thing, about 11, 12. A lot of times because it's around their brothers, their uncles, and their parents. It is a community statement that you are creating now. What is the value that you are trying to say for this community? That's what the kids are saying. What are you saying to them? Is it okay? Drug usage is not okay. It's the addictive process. And I believe that Lokahi Treatment Center and the Big Island Substance Abuse Council was submitting testimony to inform you that the drug addiction issue for marijuana is just as bad as ice. For the youth, as Prosecutor Kimura had stated, that marijuana is the drug of choice for the youth. And for people who say marijuana does not kill, look at the highway safety stats. And so I
30 seconds.
I appreciate it. I'm here not to, just draw my gums. I'm here because this is a real problem. We want to have a safe community. We're here not because we're rabid. We want to have a safe community. You should be focusing on pro-social activities, making a bright future for our community, encouraging a healthy community to positive activities, not saying, oh, that risk factor is really not a factor, so let's let it go on. Go ahead. And I think that's a wrong statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlene.